Are you investing in real estate with the end result in mind? I made the mistake of not looking ahead and it set me back 10 years. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 reasons why you have to look ahead to where you want to be when investing in real estate. So make sure you hit the subscribe button right now so you don't miss more videos about how to build wealth through multifamily real estate. And if you don't know me, I'm Seth Ferguson, a 12-year real estate veteran, host of a real estate TV show, host of a real estate investing podcast, and the author of the real estate book, Sell for More. So let's get right into why you need to invest in real estate with the end result in mind. And like I mentioned in the introduction, I swear it set me back 10 years by not actually thinking about where I wanted to go. I ended up buying the wrong type of property. I ended up structuring my investments the wrong way just because I wasn't very clear about where I wanted to be in, let's say, 10 years. So this is why I really want to walk through these 3 reasons so you can avoid making that same mistake. So reason number 1 is clarity. Clarity when you're making big decisions, big impactful decisions, and acquiring property is a very large asset. Like it's a high ticket item. So you want to be very clear with your decision-making process. And by having a very clear vision of, let's say, what you want your life to look like 10 years from now, it's going to make making those decisions, especially the harder ones, so much easier because you can always fall back on very simple questions. Is this getting me closer to where I want to be? Yes or no? Is this going to help my life how I want it to look in 10 years? Yes or no? And I find whenever there's some emotion involved in a decision, now as real estate investors, we always try to remove emotion, but it sneaks in there all the time, right? We're emotional people. When we really want something, emotion is impacting our decision-making process. So by having a very clear vision, and by having a clear vision, I'm not saying that like you have to think about something for 10 minutes, then come up with what you want your life to look like. It actually takes a whole lot of time. Take a couple weeks, really think about it, really dig down deep and, what do you want your life to look like? Who do you want to be hanging around with? What do you want your day to look like? What things are important to you? For myself, it's reading, it's history, it's writing, it's music, it's playing with my son. Those things are important to me. For somebody else, it might be being able to travel the world and experience all sorts of different countries. Other people, it might be giving back to charity. If you're really involved in charitable work. Everybody's different, but you have to really think about what's important and what you want to be able to do with your life. And I always use 10 years, but you can do 5 years and 15 years. Because the decisions you make now are definitely going to impact where you end up. So you really want to have that clarity and that help with the decision-making process, because it's almost like, let's say you're shooting a rifle right now at a target and you're 200 yards away. If you veer 1 degree, where that bullet ends up is going to be pretty off target. So right now at the starting point, 10 years out, any sort of decision that's off focus is going to have an amplified miss 10 years down the road. So you always want to be very, very clear about where you're going today. So that's number 1. Number 2 is structure. With real estate investing, there are a bunch of different structures you can use with your investing. For myself, I was structuring things in a way where it was all on me and my partner at the time in building the portfolio. I didn't structure my investment. I didn't structure my investment so I could raise capital easily. And this is what you really have to think about. In 10 years, do you want to have a lot of investors on the ride with you so you can impact their lives? Or do you just want to be the sole person making decisions? Do you think you should partner with somebody? Do you see yourself working better with the partner who maybe you're a very analytical person who can underwrite properties? Well, maybe you would be better off partnering with somebody who's more of a capital raiser, a front-end type of person, or vice versa. You really have to think about what's best for you for your life 10 years down the road so you can make those decisions. And structure is so very important. I've seen investors where they've started off with one structure and 5 years later it is so hard to pivot with that structure because it's so ingrained in their business. And I've seen millions and millions of dollars, no joke, be left on the table just because they structured things wrong. And number 3 is focus. By having a very clear vision of where you want to go in 10 years, that is absolutely going to help your focus, because one thing we find, but especially in real estate and investors in general, is there's always another shinier object somewhere else. You know, in real estate, there's so many different types of real estate, so many different strategies. And, you know, if the market shifts one way or the other way, one object can look shinier than the other object. But by having that very clear vision that we talked about, number one, and having that focus now, you can really stay on that path. Because, you know, when you're thinking about where you want to go, and in my own situation, I started off investing in single family homes. But then I realized, once I actually thought about where I wanted to go, I realized that I'd have to own 1,000 houses, and owning single family homes didn't fit where I wanted to go, what I wanted my life to look like. So I needed to pivot at that point and choose an asset that made sense. So now, investing in multifamily property, I'm very focused on that because I know that's what's going to take me to where I want to go in 10 years. For yourself, it might be a different class of real estate, even though this is a multifamily real estate YouTube channel. But by having that focus, that laser vision, it's going to keep you from veering off on different tangents and going after different shinier objects, because you're going to have that clarity, you're going to have that focus, and your structure, that overarching structure over everything, is really going to be conducive to that type of asset that you're going to focus on. Not saying you can't pivot, and you always have to reassess all the time, but trust me, focus is going to help you so much by having that clear end goal. So I really hope this helped. This was a mistake I made right at the start. I didn't do this at all. So I really want you to sit down and take some serious thought and really think about what you want your life to look like, where you want to go, and really imagine it. Make it tangible in your head. So when you close your eyes, you can actually feel yourself 10 years older in your new life, and that's really going to help you out. So if you're interested in learning about the deals I'm currently doing, head on over to callseth.com and we can set up a quick 20-minute phone call and talk about your real estate goals. And if you like this video, if you found this useful, hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know what you think. And until next time, happy investing.